Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorecom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. With us today, happy to have her back because it's been a minute. Joanne Free, she's a president and CEO of Xali Gold, trades in Canada under the stock symbol XGC. For those who are new to the story, but you're looking for a great small cap junior that's just in that, in that sweet spot where it's about to move on to the next step, you're gonna love the Xali Gold story because they've assembled a Western Mexico project portfolio of gold assets and have developed a strategy for organic growth in order to exploit their flagship gold project, El Oro, which is a prolific high-grade gold-silver epithermal vein system with 8 million ounces of gold equivalent produced from only 2 of over 50 known veins. So that's why we say that El Oro is a district-scale gold project. But in order to support that, they've got a strategy to create near-term cash flow to develop the flagship. And to do that, they've acquired gold and silver projects with near-surface exploration potential and near-term production potential. The El Dorado gold-silver project, the acquisition of the SDA plant, and the El Oro tailings reprocessing project. All of them are actually doing right well. We're going to talk about that right now. Joanne, welcome back.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Sorry about the dogs.
No problem. We're all working from home.
First. There's a lot going on there. Let's start first with an update on your flagship on El Oro Gold. How's that looking right now?
Very interesting. We've got some third parties that are very interested in getting involved with us. We've had various discussions this past couple of years, few merger opportunities, but coming along with some discussions that I think people will really like to bring value there, and that is get involved with another company in the best way possible, and be able to come to fruition all the fabulous exploration targets we have there.
And why is that more of a surge of interest as of late? What's the catalyst for the interest that's coming in?
I would say that Mexico has a lot of discoveries happening right now that are similar to the El Oro style of mineralization. So people are recognizing the value in the work we've done in the past, and just what a great system it is. Gold silver system. Yeah.
You've talked about the fact that it's a stack system. So what is a stack system, and how does it help advance the project, to the benefit of all shareholders?
Right. So the stack system concept, it means that the gold and silver didn't just precipitate in one level. It didn't just happen once. So I'm going to use my hands here. So normally in a low sulfidation epithermal system, you have your gold precipitates, gold and silver, over about 200-meter vertical level, because it's going to precipitate when the temperatures and pressures and acidity is at the right level. So you get your gold, then you get your silver, and then you get your base metal in a standard system. Okay. And then that's it. You're finished. You're all mined out. And when we got a hold of El Oro through Gold, predecessor of Goldcorp, buying Luisman actually on their maps had the line of end of ore system, or bottom of ore. Now, what we did is we drilled below the old workings, and we're able to establish that you're still getting gold and silver. And so you get some base metals, but it's not gold, silver, base metals, and nothing. So what that means is you've had a system that's coming up and down the structures and precipitating at different levels. And then when you add to that we found budding tonight. So first of all, I'm going to say, if your main mining was kind of my fist, where the main mining was, and then we found a sinter cap up here with budding tonight. Sinter cap is just very, very silicious, very hard quartz, but silica with budding tonight. We found that up here, and that's usually about maybe 1,000 meters above your ore body. So finding that here next to this ore body says it's too close. It can't be part of the same system. So you've got another system down here. The ore body, the high grade gold related to this would be down here. And so the one that's related to this has already been eroded. And that's what Mag Silver did to discover Juanicipio, is they found budding tonight up here, more like this, and then drilled a lot deeper and found the high grade. And so we've already got high grade near surface, and a lot of it's mined out, but we believe, well, our drilling shows it still continues. So we've got that, but then we think there's a whole new system below, which is evidenced by all our previous drilling. Then also,
and you think that might be 1,000 meters below that cap? Is that the general rule of thumb?
I don't know.
That cap, you look about
I don't think it
meters?
has to be 1,000 meters, but certainly you'd want to be able to drill at least 1,000 meters below that cap. Now that cap's still buried, so I mean, I should say it's pretty close to the surface, but it is buried a little bit. Then, in addition to that, in one particular area we were drilling. So again, here's your main ore body that's been mined. A lot of that's where in San Rafael vein they got 4 million ounces gold, 44 million ounces silver. So we drilled to get the extensions of that in 3 holes. 2 of the holes we lost because we came into old workings, and we got some vein, but we basically lost them here. But the third one did hit, and so we showed the extension here. But then all 3 holes found other veins above, and in those veins we got some really high grades of gold and silver. But again, you're not getting your gold up here and your silver here. You're getting in those you're getting maybe gold and silver here, or high grade silver here, or high grade silver up above the gold. So what's exciting about that is it's just further evidence that you don't just have gold, silver, base metals in this system, and that you must have had a stacked or even a moving system, but you have more than one system.
So what do you do to figure that out? Obviously you got to drill, well, but is that a lot of work to try and figure out what that means?
It will be, but the great thing is where we drilled, all these holes here, we know now that we drilled, so the vein is here, we drilled perpendicular to the vein. And in fact, we've got structures that are controlling the high grade that are also perpendicular to the vein. So we drilled parallel to those, which means, if you've got something great here and you drill like this, well, you're going to miss it. You got to drill this way to intersect it. So now we know where to go and to drill obliquely so that we can come through the vein that's already, actually the several veins, because there's 1, 2, 3 in that area. And then got to come across so that you're going to hit not exactly this way, you're going to hit this way or this way. So we've got fabulous targets is the point, and we've already got some really nice grades. So,
and given what you talked about at the top of this interview, is that also explains why you're more interest coming in to the project?
Yes, because of other discoveries happening in Mexico right now that are very similar. So similar style of mineralization. So makes people recognize, oh my God, they found that there. Why would we not find that at El Oro with everything we've already found so far?
And I know it's early, but based on what you guys have discovered now, how excited is your team about, the potential, the prospect of this being something significantly more than what you thought you had?
No, it's fabulous. I mean, how many people can say that there's already been 8 million ounce gold equivalent mined out of the land you own, the mineral rights you own?
Not very many, I'd have to say.
No, not very many at all. Yeah.
And I mean, this is all about where where there's success, there's probably more success. That's what the whole industry is built on. So, okay. By the way, timeline before we move on to the tailings, timeline of, when ballpark the next round of discovery starts. Do you have have you got a plan for that yet? Or are you waiting
we're in negotiations on bringing in a partner. So let them do the funding, so we're not diluting further, but just share the reward, because we think the reward is going to be huge. So in negotiations.
All right, love it, and can't wait to hear more. So we'll move on to the next. I mentioned in my intro the El Oro tailings reprocessing project, which is a really nice piece there. What's the status of the permits? How's it looking?
Well, it's getting closer. Unfortunately, I can't give an exact, how many weeks, how many months, but it should be happening pretty soon. They've come They've gone through several processes and been told it would be very soon. And then what I understand is there's been a change of some of the personnel in the permitting department in Seminole. So that's been the latest delay. But the fact that Sun River Gold has started making us monthly payments really means they have a lot more confidence as well. But they and their investors, of course, that they're getting closer.
And that's $15,000 US per month. That's not that's not small change.
No, and that's until we get into production. And so the new thing that came with the renegotiation last year when we gave them the extension was also we'll get, as soon as they're in production, we don't have to wait for the profits or the payback. We start getting 50,000 a month once they're in production. So, and the production shouldn't take too long once the permitting happens, because it's not, everything's still already on surface, right?
And how, I mean, that 15.15 is a nice number, but when that $50,000 US per month starts, it's not just great money, but it's just great validation of your plan, which is to go find near-term cash flowing assets to help the flagship. I mean, how good does it feel to see a plan come together?
Absolutely. No, it's excellent.
Let's move on to Western Mexico. The SDA plant. It's got a history of profitable operation for 10 years. It's a mill that's fully operational. What's the status there?
Yeah, so it was operational up from 2007 to 2017. 2019, they did a 600-ton pilot test, and then now we've been a couple of years since we started earning in 2020. So we would have to spend, our due diligence showed between 100 to 200 to get it back operational. That includes permitting and just some things that wore out and some things that have been sitting still too long. There are some groups who say it'll be a lot less money, but we've been negotiating with a couple of different groups that want to earn in with us. So our initial plan was to tie up nearby historic mines and get operational ourselves. It's just taken us a while to do that and get the market interested enough for us to raise the money to do it. But we've also found permitting. There's been a permitting delay at El Dorado, which is our nearest old historic mine with really high grades near surface. So that permit has taken us longer to get. And so it's made us recognize that working directly with Mexican local companies is probably a good idea. And so we've been, and they have been approaching us. So right now, we're in discussions on one that would give us like a 15% net profit interest. They would actually spend all the money to get the mill up and running, re-permitted, get it up and running. And they already have an ore body they're extracting from. Now, we could add El Dorado to that because that's the one we're still tied up in. But maybe anyway, we're just investigating how many projects they have, because there's quite a few high grade mines in the area that aren't going to be the El Oros of the world, where you think you're going to find another several million ounces, but it can be very profitable when you have an operating mill right nearby. So we're looking forward to getting some cash flow out of that one coming as soon as possible, but it'll take a bit of time.
But again, it just goes to show that the plan you guys put together to develop, these assets that could create near-term cash flow to help the flagship. Again, you're 2 for 2 there. I mean, you're not there yet, but
we're getting there. Yes,
yeah, you're getting there. That's got to be great news for shareholders.
Yeah, absolutely. And we still have a property in Peru that's quite small, but interestingly enough, it's surrounded by tech and barrack. So we're hoping they might decide they need it.
Write you a check. Just exactly. Write you a check.
Yeah.
And the last piece of the puzzle is the El Dorado Gold Silver project. So you guys acquired the rights to the El Dorado Gold and Silver historic mines. How's that looking?
It's just taken a little bit in permitting. So we thought we'd have a drill permit by now, and we don't. So we The owner actually went back to the owner and said, can you help us get the permits? Because if we can't get it permitted, is it the project, or is it the government, or what's the issue? So he actually has engaged a new permitting group talked to them at PDAC in June, but I think they got going in September, full on. So hopefully they'll be able to get a handle on the permitting. And I believe what's going to happen is they won't go just for a drilling permit. They'll go straight to what's called the MIA, which is an operating permit, and just look at it as, the whole bit. And the idea for us with the SDA is that could actually provide a good bulk sample for getting the SDA going. So if the other group doesn't have their ore ready yet, then maybe we work a deal and use that. But and then we do want to explore the El Dorado as well, because we feel there's a lot more to be found there near surface.
So here we are, we're sitting November the 9th, almost the end of the year, not quite, but I think the world, 3 weeks from now, everyone's going to start shutting down slowly for the holidays and all that. How happy are you with the execution of the plan, and where the company's sitting at right now, and how happy should shareholders feel? How optimistic should they feel about what 2023 is shaping up to be?
Well, I think everything's coming together. None of us like the fact that it's taken so long, but it is what it is, and we've been managing to hang on to some really good assets. And I think our time is coming with all the interest we've had and the negotiations we're in right now, and then the payments starting to get better with Sun River Gold. So, yeah.
How does the macro? We'd be remiss if for a second we didn't talk about the fact that the world itself has gone through quite the turbulence in 2022, but precious metals, gold, silver, gold, silver, they've held their ground. They haven't made, big surges, but they've really held their ground, which makes them, as an asset relative to all other assets, extremely attractive. How has that helped the interest in Xali and just in the whole plan that you're putting together?
Well, I think we've all been disappointed that gold didn't go higher with all the what you expect, the risky things going on in the world. Having said that, it's coming together. The interest is coming back into the sector, and we always used like $1,300 gold, $1,200 gold to try and make sure things were economic. We weren't looking for things that needed $2,000 gold. So all our targets are pretty much intact and looking very good at current gold prices.
Yeah, because we're sitting in the 1650 to 1750.
Yeah,
you're right. There's a little bit disappointed that gold hasn't performed the way we thought it would in these kind of turbulence. But from a stability point of view, it's actually performed really well. I mean, you've got Bitcoin that's down, 75, 80%. You've got some of the biggest companies in the world, Facebook, some of the big tech companies, the ones that took all the attention away from the boring, precious metals companies, but they're suffering from Amazon, Google, Netflix, Disney, all of them. And there's gold and silver just kind of holding their ground. So
hasn't lost its value. Yeah, no, that's why I really like metals. I mean, we have our tough years, but when markets get too crazy, if you've got metal in the ground, it hasn't gone away. So that really, I think, gives you a bottom, gives you a floor in your value.
Last question. How do you feel going to 2023 personally? How do you're the CEO, you're the head of the company. I know you're the hardest on yourself, because even when we talk, despite successes and moving things along nice, it can never happen fast enough. And that's good. It's a great trait to have. But all that aside, how's your confidence level going into 2023 for Xali?
Oh, much better than it has been over the last couple of years, I'd say. Yeah, no, it's looking very good. I think the stars are starting to align. And
for you to say that, that's no small thing, because you're the anti-talker. You're the anti-promoter. Not that you're being promotional now, but you're always very reserved. You're very measured in what you say and how you feel. So for you to be saying that, Joanne, that gives me as a shareholder and everyone watching or listening as shareholder, great confidence, and we thank you for being here. I'm going to leave last word to you, because like I said, it is November. I would love to know that you're going to be back on, but you may not. last word to you for your shareholders as to what you want to talk
Oh,
about.
I think we'll have more news before Christmas. Absolutely.
Okay.
So I know we haven't seen each other a lot over the last year just because of the news flow, but I think it's definitely starting to pick up. So
okay, yeah. I love that. I'm glad I'm going to see you again, and can't wait to have you back. But in the meantime, thanks for the great update. It's nice to see the company moving along so well on multiple fronts. You're not a one-trick pony, and you've got multiple fronts moving. That's great.
Yeah. Thank you very much, George.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. To Joanne Free, she's a president and CEO of Xali Gold, trades in Canada under the stock symbol XGC. For those of you who are believers in precious metal, gold and silver assets, or you've seen the damage and the carnage that's taken place in the high-tech, frothy kind of markets out there and looking for that stability and now looking to this space, to do your due diligence on Xali, get to the company's profile page on Agoracom, because there's a lot going on here. This isn't George Com Gold. We've got a piece of land. They're going to drill it and see what's going to happen. A lot of moving parts, a lot of great moving parts. We want you to go to the profile page and take a look at all that again. Get yourself familiar with it. And when you've got that base knowledge, head over to the company's website, do your due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.